All right, hello everyone. Today I'm gonna go over exam one, some things that I think will happen on the test. And just to make sure that you guys know, this is created in August 31st, 2024. These information might be relevant or a little bit irrelevant to the current semester that you are in. However, I would believe that most of the cases are gonna be the same. All right. So first, really important, one of the important stuff is you need to know your calculator. Know very well uh, how your calculators functions. Make sure you get comfortable with it because on exam one, exam threes are very tied together. And so work very hard on first exams. First exam and third exams are kind of relate to each other's. Second exam going to be different, different species, but it's going to be a little bit harder. Okay. Second recommendation is understand the concepts. So once you know your calculator, very comfortable how to using it, then the second step is know the concepts, very confident with what the concepts are. And that is going to be something that we go over. We also have these 11 questions. It's the file that says exam one, additional practice problems. I see that these problems are good representations of what will be on the test. So we will go over these 11 problems. Um, However, there I will create a 12 problems, the hardest form possible problems um, out there. And if you guys want and feel comfortable with these 11 problems already, skip around to the last videos. Last one, I will talk about the um, the hardest problem, which called it's called two stages growth models. All right. All right. Not further ado, we are looking at this problem right here. Uh, okay. When we are looking at your calculator, something important to look out is first thing is look at whether you are using end mode or begin mode. If you are familiar with begin modes, make sure how you do it. Um, Most of the time I will use only end mode since I tend have a tendency to just using one type of way, make it less nuanced when solving it. However, if you guys forgot how to change end mode or begin mode, it is first to hit the yellow button right here. It says second, and then hit PMT, which is then it will say your current mode, and then hit second one more time, hit the yellow button one more time, and then hit enter. And that's when you see it switch. Then just hit clear um, to get out of it, right? You could do the again, a second PMT. I will use end mode. So that's how you do it. Second something to watch out is really this is the you guys will have heard of something called three find fourth. They're gonna give you three things and find a fourth thing, or they're gonna give you four thing and you have to find the fifth thing, right? And that is these right here, right? If they give you four of these, then that means they want you to find the future value. If they only give you three, let's say for instance of these, then there's only one more thing you could find. Either they tell you to find future value or PMT. So that's kind of like the thing that you could look out for. If they give you three things, that mean you could only find a fourth thing. If they gave you four thing, you could only find a fifth thing. Um, third rule is the third thing to watch out. And this one is very important, right? That is, remember to clear your data once you solve a problems. So let's say you enter all these numbers in, right? And after you find your value, then you want to make sure that these numbers are clear. And how do you do it? You do it by hitting the second button again, the yellow one, and then hitting um clear button, and then hitting a clear button. And where is it? It's right here. Let me highlight it for you guys. So second is right here, and then clear button is the FV, right? So every type of problem after you finish, just hit second FV, and then just hit clear button. That's something that I usually do. Clear, right? That's when you're ready for the next set of problem. Uh, Fourth thing to watch out. Let me think. All right. Fourth thing to watch out is let's say that sometimes you see the error and you hit compute and they give you error. Because you um that is because you guys are entering. That's when you guys enter, let's say for FV, if you guys forgot to put it, let's say that you put negative for FV, then PV, you have to put positive. However, if you put FV is positive, then you put PV as negative. So just make sure that when you put one sign negative, you put the other opposite signs. At this point, really the signs really doesn't really matter that much. However, if you guys need a reason why to it, it just mean that cash inflow is mean positive and cash outflow is negative. Um, I don't see you guys need to go into details about that. Um, yes, so make sure you know your calculator very well. It's gonna happens. Um, all right. Give me a moment. All right. So now make sure that you guys are very familiar with the calculators. It just make your life easier, right? I personally, like I said, I will use N mode. Most of the problem I'm gonna using to solve problems, I'm using N mode. All right. Let me see anything else I could add on to that. Huh. All right. I think it's good to go to the concepts. Let me go to the concepts. Uh, this is much. All right, when it comes to concepts, I would in this in this exam one, I would say that there's are a few concepts that usually make people confused, and that is the concept of annuities and pepper perpetuity, right? First, there's are two types of annuities, and that is ordinary annuity, and there's are annuity dual. All right, so whenever we're talking about annuity, it means that there are cash flows that having the ending period. So let's say you're gonna receive $100 for 3 years. Yeah, so the keyword is 3 years, right? So it's ending in the third years. Um, and so anytime you see that there's all limited, there's all the ending period, then that is annuity. Okay. So ordinary dual is just the example I'm just drawing up there. Uh, when you see 100, 100, 100, then you guys can see that the first payment are 1 year or one period, right? More precisely is one period because the number one, it could means 1 quarter, right? Quarterly, or it could mean um one semi-annual, so that is 6 months, right? Or it could mean 1 year, right? So it's precisely to say one period. Um, but in this case, I'm using a year just to intuition's easier. Okay. So any payment that you receive like 1 year after, uh remember anything that start at zero is called present value, right? So 1 year payment after, that is ordinary annuity. Okay. One thing to point out is annuity and perpetuity is talking about payment. Right? So what is payment? Payment is something that you are paying or receiving uh in a periodic way. So let's say 100 for monthly, semi-annually, quarterly, something like that. Um, okay. Let's see. So when we talk about annuity, it means that, let me see. So when we're talking about annuity, it means that any payment PMT that happen at time zero, right? Which means today, right now. So let's say if you're receiving $100 for 3 years, but the first receiving is from today, then you know that is gonna be three receiving that you're gonna receive. This is gonna be at time zero right now, and then it's gonna be at year one, and then it's gonna be at year two. Um, so anything that happened today that is called annuity dual. Right? So these are different types of problems. We will see some of it in the selected problems, in the 11 problems, and we will go into details. What is the different? Let's see. Yes. So once again, recap, anything that you see, there's are limited numbers of period. This case is 3 period, or just use example is 3 years, then as is annuity. And it's either ordinary annuities or annuity dual. Yes. And then when we're talking about perpetuities, that is cash flow or payments that are infinite, that are going in if that are growing, that is happen forever. Okay, before I'm explaining more, I want to give you tips here is I usually draw out the cash flows just for an easy understand of where the money goes. So let's say the very easy problem is, let's say, what is $1,000 value 5 years from today? And that is, you should put PV as 1,000, right? FV is right here. Number of period is 5, and then you're gonna put in interest right? Then you're gonna find FV, right? Let's say if interest rate is 10%, right? You could find FV. You will most find these cash flows very helpful when, let's say, this year is 100, another year is 500, another year is 600, another year is 700, right? When it's that happen, and let's say they ask you to find the present value, then you have to find the present value for each particular period payment, right? So 100 right there, the number of n is, it's n is equal to 1, right? And then right here, 500, it's 1, 2 to get back to present value, right? It's have to go back 1 period, 2 period. So you know that n is equal to 2. And then for the 600, it's have to go 1, 2, 3. It's better that way. I recommend you guys doing this way. Yeah. Okay. Back to perpetuity. There's are two types of perpetuities. Two types also, right? First type is called perpetuity. It's just called perpetuity perpetuity, and then the second is called, well, first I will just explain the perpetuity first for you guys. Perpetuities. All right. So it's gonna grow forever, you know that. Let's say that from now on, 1 year from now, you're gonna receive $100 for the rest of your life for every year, right? Boom, boom, boom. So with the interest rate of let's say 5%, then how do you value the present value? Right? Looking at the equation sheet, for exam 1, you see that this equation right here is talking about the it's talking about the perpetuity, right? Regular perpetuity or perpetuity. All right, let's say, so how do you value it? The equation said present value is equal to payment or cash flow divided by 5%. How much is it got? 0.05. That is 2,000, right? 2,000. Right, so 2,000, the fair value of $100 you receive forever for every year is valued at 2,000 right now, today. Okay, so the next perpetuities you guys gonna have. Okay, so this type of problem will be on the test. Well, they're gonna have one at least problem like this, so it's kind of 3 point. You just take the cash flow divided by the interest rate. Okay, so the next one is called growing perpetuity. Growing perpetuity, or Gordon, or AKA Gordon growth. Right? Okay. So what's the difference? The difference between the just regular perpetuities and the growing perpetuities or Gordon growth is that, let's say, you will continue to receive $100 from now on forever, right? From now on forever. Let me think. Ooh. Yes, so you will receive 100 from now on forever. But the catch is that the 100 will grow 5% forever as well. So it's gonna be 105 the next year, and then it's gonna continue to grow 5%, right? With the interest rate, let's say interest rate is discount rate, right? The I discount rate is 10%. Let's say that. Okay, I will show you guys the formula first before I explain further. But the equation for growing perpetuity or Gordon formula is VO, which just means present value, equal to D0, 1 plus G divided by I minus G. Okay, divided by I minus G. All right, remember, this is like usually the most difficult part is the Gordon formula. People are finding this the most difficult, right? So just keep an eye out for this. Okay, back to this. When they say D0, it just means the payment or the dividend, same thing, don't really matter that much. But the zero is mean that the dividend that haven't experienced the growth, right? This 100 haven't experienced the 5% growth. So the growth right here, you know that it's the $100 will grow 5% every year. So the growth factor is the growth rate is 0.05. What about this I right here? The I is stand for discount rate, right? Let's say this $100. If you want to find the present value of that $100, then you have to discount it back, right? With some interest rate, with some discount rate. Then that discount rate is right here is given 10%. That's I'm giving to you guys. So 0.1 is the interest rate. So remember there's our two rates. One is the interest or discount rate, and then the other is growth rate. One, just to keep in mind that the growth rate happened on the top of the cash flow that I'm drawing right here. Right? It's and then the interest rate is happening at the bottom. That's how I usually visualize it. Yes, you're gonna grow to 105, but then when you discount back, so from year two is like 1 to 2 period discounting, but it's discount for the discount rate of 10%. Right, so keep in mind there's a different rate. There's a 10% and there's a 5%. If you plug in the calculator, let's say, okay, we will start putting into the calculator. So DO, what is DO in this point? DO is the first payment that haven't experienced a 5% increase. That haven't experienced a 5% increase is 100. Let me think. Okay. Let me think. Okay. 100. Let me think real quick. Okay, so DO is the first payment. Like I said, haven't experienced the growth yet. Is 100. 1 minus 1 plus 0.05 divided by 0.10 minus 0.05. That is the present value. But the question is, where is that present value lie on the cat, lie on this one? Is it right here? Or is it right here? Right? Is it in year one or is it in year 0? And let me make sure I got this right? Boo, and then discount everything back. Okay, so the answer is in year 1. When you find the present value, the present value, the VO that you find is gonna stay at year 1. If you want to find the real present value, the present value that is back to year 0, then you have to discount that present value. Let me think. Okay. For now, I will touch on this later on just to make sure that I got this correct. However, just keep in mind of this formula right here. One other thing I want to tell you guys is it's also the equation you also have is D1 divided by I minus G. Just remember these two equations because it just means that D1 is the one that already experienced the 5% increase growth rate. So in this case, it's the 105. In this case, the 105. And the reason why I'm telling you guys to know these two equation is because sometimes the question gives you the dividend that haven't experienced the 5% yet, which is 100. Then sometimes it's the question phrased it in a way that's give you the dividend that's already experienced the growing. So just keep in mind D1 just mean that it's already growing, and so you just need to divide by the I minus G. If it give you the dividend from the beginning that haven't experienced the growth rate, then that is this equation. Okay, so next, I will make sure to explain to you guys further this part where if you get the present value, is it stay at year 1 or other nuance to it too. So remember, this is the most difficult one. Yeah, just make sure if you find ways to solve this, that's great. Next one, we will go over the 11 problems we're gonna have. I will go over this as well at the beginnings of videos. If I spot any mistakes, this will be reviewing at the beginning of videos as well. All right, see you guys.